Over the past few days, we've finally seen a pullback in the CS2 market. With a potential crash on the horizon, we could see a massive opportunity to stock up on some investments that could return us some large amounts of money over the next few years. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the best case investments you can make right now. This will be the perfect time to buy into some of these cases while we see some small price decreases over the next few weeks. When we take a look at the overall market here, we can see we're down about 1% in the past 24 hours. The all-time high was 5.5 billion, and we're currently sitting at 5.46 billion. We're down about 100 million in the past couple days. However, on the 7-day chart, we still are up 1.03%. The 30-day over 15%, and the 90-day we're looking at 11.02%. We have finally also seen the crash we were assuming was going to happen at any point. The Evil Genius Hollow from Stockholm has finally crashed after its all-time peak of $432. When we take a look at the 1-day chart, we can see it is down over 56% in the past 24 hours. The potential decrease we have seen in the market over the past 2 days is likely due to a lot of these Stockholm stickers. When we take a look at the biggest stickers in the Stockholm collection that were selling for high prices, we can see the Evil Geniuses did take the biggest hit. However, there are a few others down around 20 to 30%. Now that we finally covered the small pullback in the market and the massive crash in the Stockholm stickers, we're going to be covering the best cases you can pick up right now. When looking at cases, there are a few things that I'm mainly focused on. We're going to be looking for some of the best higher tier knives in any of the golds, as well as any of the main play skins in any of the covert positions or classified items. This is going to be the AWP, the AK, the M4, and the 2 starter pistols, which is the Glock 18 and the USPS. The first case that I'm heavily investing into is the Spectrum case. Like I said, we're looking for covert and classified skins of the main weapons in CS2. We can see 4 out of the 5 items on screen right now are the main weapons used in CS2. We have a covert USPS and AK-47 alongside an M4A1S and AWP in the classified position. Also, when we take a look at the knives from this collection, we can see the marble fade as well as the Doppler finishes. However, the main reason I want to invest into this case is because of the butterfly knives. This is one of the highest tier knives in CS2, and I see the price continuing to rise over the next few years. One of the other main reasons I'm currently investing into this case is because it's down around 28% in the past 52 weeks from its all-time high. Also in the last 7 days, we're down around 6.9%. This could be a great buying opportunity with the cheapest prices currently around $4.50. Also taking a look at unboxing numbers in the past 30 days, the Spectrum case has been opened about 163,000 times. This is still a strong number for a rare drop pool item, which I definitely think we will see decrease as quantities continue to lower. The second case that I'm personally investing into right now in CS2 is the Gamma case. Once again, the fundamentals we mentioned at the start of the video, we do have 2 covert skins that are both starter weapons in CS2, as well as 1 classified item. We have the M4A1S, the Glock 18, and a classified M4A4. Just like the last case with the butterfly knife, we once again have some of the strongest knives in CS2, being the Karambit and M9. These are some of the most valuable items in CS2, with the Gamma Doppler Emerald being one of the higher tier finishes you can pull. Although I personally am a bigger fan of the normal Dopplers, the Gamma Doppler is a strong pickup, especially with the bayonet, flip knife, M9 bayonet, and Karambit all being in one single case. This case is also a slightly lower entry point compared to the Spectrum case that we did just talk about. We can see here the average price right now is around $3.53. From its 52-week all-time high, we're currently down 41.85%, and just like the Spectrum, we're down around 6.8% in the past 7 days. Taking a look at unboxing numbers of the last 30 days, this is on the mid to lower end of rare cases in CS2 with around 105,000 open in the past 30 days. However, I personally still think we see a huge potential growth in this case over the next few years. The next case on today's list is the Gallery case. Although it doesn't have some of the higher tier knives that a lot of people are chasing in CS2, we do have the M4A1S, the Glock 18, and the AK-47 all in the classified and covert positions for this case. The knives in this case are a little bit of a letdown, with only being the Kukri knife. However, due to the rare drop pool happening in CS2 and this item being removed, if it does go to the discontinued cases, I do see a huge potential skyrocket over the next few years. It is still yet to be confirmed where this case will end up after it's removed from the CS2 armory. However, if it does make its way to the discontinued cases, it joins 6 other cases in all of CS2 which are in this same pool. Looking at the discontinued cases in CS2, the cheapest item in this entire pool of cases is the Shattered Web case at $6.46. Just like the gallery case, the knife finishes in the shattered web case are actually the exact same as the ones on the kukri knife. Although I don't see it hitting the $6 mark like the shattered web case, I definitely see this item increasing in price over the next few years as it continues to lower its supply on the Steam market. On the 30-day chart for this case, we can see around 1,100,000 were unboxed, although this number will decrease as less items are on the Steam market, and when it gets removed from the armory, we will probably see it hovering around that lower end of 100 to 200,000 per month once the supply starts to dry up. However, this could be the potential increase in price that we will see. The final cases and best cases that we're going to be talking about in today's video, and my top choice for cases to invest in right now in CS2, are the Prisma case and Prisma 2 case. When looking at the main skins in this case, there only is really one skin that stands out, which is the M4A4 Emperor in that covert slot. However, when we take a look at the knives for this case, we can see the Doppler finish as well as the marble fade finish once again. We have the stiletto, which is definitely one of the higher tier knives, as well as the Talon, which is one of the main reasons I'm looking at this case. With the Prisma 2 case, we have the exact same knife finishes with the Stiletto, the Talon, the Navaja, as well as the Ursus in the Marble Fade and Doppler finish. However, in this case, we do have a Glock 18, an M4A1S in that covert slot, as well as an AK-47 in the classified. Out of the two cases, this is the one I personally am picking up. However, prices are pretty similar on these two cases. Looking at the overall price for these two cases, they are within about 5 cents, and they typically are within that 5 to 20 cent range. So no matter when you do see one in a higher price point, you can assume the other will follow in the next few days or few weeks. Taking a look at the unboxing numbers on the last 30 days for these two cases, we can see they are on the higher end of rare drop pool items that are being unboxed. The Prisma case has been opened around 310,000 times, with the Prisma 2 case being opened around 448,000. I personally am picking up the Prisma 2 case as I do like the items in that case more. However, they both are great investments and the top case investments right now. Those were my top choices for the best cases to invest in right now in CS2 for the long term. With a small pullback in the market, it's now a great opportunity to pick up on some of these cases at some small discounted prices. If you enjoyed and found this video useful, consider liking, subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.